Dumba a healthy scratch. Now, the rumor mill for Dumba's trade has been swirling even stronger than it has in years past, Kirsten, and rightfully so. It's a contract year for him. You're not going to be able to keep him. Bill Guerin has already kind of publicly said this is probably his final season. Matt Dumba has accepted that. But a healthy scratch, and I do believe it was a healthy scratch. It wasn't because they're looking at moving him immediately by any means, and it didn't appear that he was injured. What are your thoughts on that? Did it surprise you?
I will say, I feel like I have been surprised just by this whole development. And I think this goes back to a few months ago when we were talking about it, because Bill Guerin has stated when he got here, he has been looking at how to possibly trade Dumba, and it hasn't happened. And every single year, he's been on the table being talked about how he could be traded this season. And as we know, it never has happened. And so this time, I think this is the only time it has ever actually felt real, imminent, like this is going to be happening soon. And even when Dumba was asked about it the other day, I saw online, like his quote was saying, like, I'm just trying to enjoy my time here in Minnesota with the guys and just having fun every day. So even his response kind of made it sound like he knows his time is up. And being a healthy scratch too, I think, to be fair, he deserved to be scratched that game because of how he played the game prior. But I think the writing is on the wall. And this is the very first time it's ever felt like this is actually going to happen.
Yeah, we've talked about it a little bit on this podcast over the course of a couple episodes. Like, Dumba has struggled greatly and mightily this season. I mean, even more than he has in past. Again, Dumba has always been that high risk, high reward player. That reward has not been very apparent this year. And I don't know, a lot of people like to go back to his injury, his shoulder injury from that fight with Matthew Tkachuk a couple years back, and now he hasn't quite been the same. And that is true. His slap shot has lost a lot of power behind it because that's a tough injury to deal, a tough surgery to go through. So I'm sure that's part of it. But just some of the mistakes, they are so glaring and so abhorrent that it's just like you can't ignore that. And I'm sure it was a difficult conversation. Again, Matt Dumba wearing the A for this organization as well. Jules Eric's neck, by the way, Fred got the A in replacement. So maybe a little writing on the wall there. We talked about that a couple weeks ago too. But yeah, I mean, it's just, it needed to happen. He needed to get that message sent. I imagine the message was very well received by Matt Dumba with a little bit of angst, but it makes kind of the storyline narrative surrounding him and potential trades even more so. Again, as a reminder, Dumba drafted by the Wild in 2012, first round, 7th overall. He's now 28 years old, a salary cap hit of $5.2 million that final year. So again, just looking at the cap crunch, you ain't keeping him around.